everyone. Good morning or good evening, no matter where you are. Welcome to my Conversations with Rudy Rivera. Today, I am thrilled and excited to have my good friend from Tijuana, Geraldo Dueñas. English translation, Geraldo Owners, right?
Gary Owners.
Dueño means owner, right? Geraldo is a chemical engineer turned professor turned his job is to primarily teach company employees how to execute, uh, how to manage negotiations, and really a number of other skills to be better employees. Geraldo, could you tell us a little bit about what you're doing now and how you made the switch from a chemical engineer to what you're doing now?
Well, it's a little bit like the song from the verse that comes from Bob Dylan, turn, turn, turn. I have been turning and turning and turning around since I was in college. I studied chemical engineer, bachelor degree and master degree in Mexico, National University, famous UNAM. And basically what I do now is what I feel I can be best at, and also I can afford more to the people that do business with me. And that is, I describe myself as a creative strategist. That means I always looking for the best way of doing business. I call myself a professional speaker. You know, we are companions from LSA, Latam Speaker Association. I consider myself a good speaker. Since I have experience of more than 40 years giving presentations, giving conference talks, and part of my daily job is executive training. I mean, giving courses and whatever companies need, and also giving consultancy. And finally, and I think I took this new role in the last 5 years, I am a business writer. And as a matter of fact, I'm publishing my first book after 5 years of working and preparing myself to be responsible of my works and my work, so people can make use of it and people can benefit from my experience and my proposal.
Well, your latest book is Negociar a Color, which is Negotiating Color, is an interesting way to look at the art of negotiation. I've had several people on where we've discussed negotiation, but I was really fascinated with your book and negotiating in color, and it's really a different twist on it, right? And what I get from it, and I'll have you explain to me a little more further for our listeners, is that you have to negotiate according to your own style, correct? And there are certain, you use certain what they call muñequitos. You use certain figures, right? And there's the shark. There's we can talk about those later, right?
Yeah, of course. I just went off the screen because I think we're gonna have our companions here with us. Okay, yeah, make it with a lot of warming in the style, to use some animals and stuffed animals, make it more delightful.
Well, the stuffed animals are a good way to get your point across, but can you explain to us what the concept of negotiation by color is, and what are the different types of negotiations?
Well, from my point of view, and being a negotiator for more than 40 years, I mean, we are negotiators since we born. We are always negotiating. Everybody's a negotiator. Like it or not, feel skill or not, be reasonable or not, everybody is a negotiator. So my experience went on to discover two types of negotiation at the end of the day. Black and white. I mean, people that say, I want to win, you lose. It's the typical madman we see in TV series and movies.
But that's not a negotiation. That's making a demand, right? Go ahead. What's the other part of it?
The black and white negotiation is I win, you lose, and in position and what we call take advantage of the other parts all the time. Seems like the way of doing business. And finally, inspired on the program of negotiation from Harvard University, the famous PON, program of negotiation is based on principles. And it has 6 basic principles, we can talk about that later, that combined with what schools like Wharton with Richard Shell in the art of negotiation and negotiating with advantage. I found out that everybody can be a great negotiator because there are not good or bad negotiators. There are only bad or good negotiations. I mean, the process you're involved. Maybe you make a lousy negotiation when you sell your car, but can make a great negotiation selling your home or buying your home or getting a mortgage or a double mortgage, as you call it over there in the US. So we're not bad or good negotiators. So negotiating in colors means being like an artist. And when you have a canvas and you want to paint your masterpiece, you use a lot of colors. Do you remember Jack Rose? I think was the name that in TV teach you how to make your own masterpiece. And he said, put some clouds here, put some trees here. I think nobody perform a masterpiece or even get something you can hang on your walls. But the essence of using all the colors and all the possibilities to make a good negotiation. Okay, it's not just black and white. Use your colors, use your style, use the possibilities. Always try to find possibilities, a new color, a new point of view. It's a matter of perspective, and it's a matter of understanding the context of each negotiation. Remember, every negotiation is different. Every negotiator is different. So with that in mind, that we can have many probabilities in a negotiation, anything can happen. Something of my phrases I use in negotiation, anything can happen in a negotiation. You never know. Richard Branson, famous CEO from Virgin, says, business are like buses. There's always one later, okay?
Well, that's important. You don't have to make a deal, right?
You don't have to make a deal if you are not feeling comfortable about the deal, or the deal is gonna diminish your business, or it's gonna harm your personal values. I state in the book, and I really believe in that if you work in your principles and values, your values and principles will work for you. And if you work in the people, on people, people will work for you. Reciprocity is very important in negotiation, okay?
Well, I want to though highlight a little bit that what we're talking about is negotiation with business. Because when you're talking about negotiation with litigation, it's a little bit different component. You're stuck with each other. You either negotiate or you go to trial. What we're talking about this hour is the best way to negotiate for business, right? And I'm a big believer that you can let the deal, you need to be prepared to walk away.
Always.
You really do. Because a bad deal can only lead to trouble. Okay.
Yeah. And I fully agree with you, Rudy. And it's important that just to say, well, if things don't happen my way or my convenience, I just step out of the room, fly from the table, negotiate on table. No, be prepared. What are the consequences of not making a deal? And what are the good consequences of not making a deal? Okay. And make the counterpart understand that, okay, I'm not making any deal with you because this is my perspective. We can make a deal if we get beyond these issues, if we can get beyond our difference. But what I call the Golden Bridge, one of the principles of Harvard, build a golden bridge. These are the possibilities. Or like our good friend Corleone will say, the offer you can refuse, but sometimes those offers are not only not the offer you can refuse, are sometimes very offensive to our intelligence and to the counterpart intelligence. So be very careful about that. Be prepared to step out of the table, step out of the room, the negotiation, but be clear about the consequences and make it clear to the counterpart. Okay, very important. Many people, especially salesmen, say, I didn't sell. The deal didn't come out. What happened? I don't know. They say no.
No, it's just the beginning, but no, it's just the beginning.
No, it's just the
the end.
beginning. Okay. So they come back to most of the seminars I perform, the directors, the CEOs of those companies say, I want a good negotiation seminar for my people, for my sales team. And why is that? Because they come to me and say, the customer say no. The commerce said no, what next? Okay, we're just starting, okay? So sometimes we have to understand, we can also say no. The power of a powerful no, as William Murray states it. Okay, what are the roots of saying no? What is the power of my yes? This is the possibility how we can manage this. They will give you a lot of fruits. If we see it as an oak tree, you know, a lot of leaves and a lot of fruits will come of this oak tree. We have the strong roots of our principles, strong roots of why not. We have a trunk. We'll say this is how we can build it, and good things will happen. And many of these things seems like just a mindset, but also have requires, a discipline, and that's why we provide a kind of a model so you can manage your own model as a negotiator, and we provide some elements so you can enrich your skills on negotiator. Everybody can enrich their skills in negotiator. Why? Because we're always negotiating and we will continue. You're a
Well,
lawyer.
a baby starts to negotiate, right? A little kid negotiates. Everybody negotiates. I think one additional, sometimes what?
Sometimes babies get better results than we do, than lawyers.
Oh, yeah, because they will cry and cry and cry until you're frustrated. But excuse me, I think that when you say the no and the people for the companies you do work for, excuse me, says the customer says they said no, but you have to know why they said no. And people often think it's a question of price. It's not a question of price all the time.
Never.
Perhaps perhaps they're willing to pay more, but perhaps what they really want is service, or they want some additional services, that you can provide. I think you've experienced that when you're negotiating with your customers about providing the services, right?
All the time. And for me, it takes a little effort to understand, but even a bigger effort to perform, to execute, say, no, I'm not based on price. But the mindset should be focused on value. Okay.
Well, what is the value? But the value is not necessarily the price. It could be other things, right? In other words, we have an expression in Spanish is lo barato sale caro, right? So it's not just about price. Somebody can paint your house and they say it's $10,000, and somebody can paint your house for $1,000. And the person that's painting a house for $1,000, you might have to say, hire somebody else to paint it, and it's going to cost you more.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to analyze the price. What is the value in that price? Needs a lot of preparation. It's not just saying I'm gonna get the cheaper one. I say, and since I was working for some U.S. companies, Dow Chemical, we had a saying very, very illustrative about price. It's cost efficient or cheap and dirty.
No, exactly. But that means, Gerardo, that you have to really know the other side, right? You
You
have
have
to
to
know
know.
what exactly is they're looking for. You can't go in, and this is the big mistake I find with people. They go in cold, okay? This is what I sell. This is what you need, correct? But they do no research at all.
No
No
research
research
at
at all.
all. It's a matter of ego. We think we have all the answers and that product is perfect and the price is right. The price sometimes is not right because people won't buy what you think you value. People will buy what they think is your value. And by that perspective, well, this great business writer as well, Guy Kawasaki. Guy Kawasaki is the chief evangelist from Mac, from Apple Computers. And he says very clear in a very strong statement. That is, or you're different or you're cheap. So you have to be different. Okay. But people have to value that. And it takes effort. It's a process. Okay. And sometimes we don't have that value. We have to be very honest about ourselves and say, well, maybe I'm not that good a professional. Maybe there are others in the market. Answers like, well, the market is performing like that. No, what is the market? There are a lot of
Right.
terms around the business that market people, customers.
Well, that means that you have to know, you have to ask questions. So you don't go in telling the person about your services. You ask them questions, right? You
Right.
ask what their needs are. How can you sell somebody something if you don't know what they need, right? Because I can give you some examples, Gerardo. I've been involved in some negotiations where it's not about the price, okay? It's, for example, about the longevity of the company. Okay, will the company be around? What are your security protocols? You may be cheaper, but when it comes to storing our data, which is, let's say that's a situation we're going to hire somebody to store our data, what protocols do you have to make sure you don't get hacked? Those are important issues. It's not necessarily the price, right? And the
That's
more
right.
the more you get involved in those issues, you're going to realize the price doesn't really matter. It's can you fill the other needs? But unless you ask them, you're never going to know what those needs are, right?
You're very right, Rudy. And I will say, taking back the concept of negotiating in colors, when you negotiate only in price, you're negotiating in black and white. When you negotiate in colors, you're negotiating in values, plural. I mean, what are you gonna get about my service? Working with us, working with me. People come to me, I need a negotiation seminar. Okay, how you like it? Well, I like it like Harvard. Okay, in Harvard costs
Exactly.
$20,000. You can go to Harvard and you will get it better. I have my own proposal. I can take those steps. It's gonna cost you 10. Well, let's see. Let me see my budget. And if you receive those expected answers, something very important in negotiating, expected answers. They will say the price is high. They will say they don't need that kind of product. They will see they don't see the value. Well, those are not just data, that's our instructions. They don't see the value, okay, make them see the value. Okay.
Well, they don't know the value. There's a big difference, though, Gerardo. They don't know the value. Okay. Oftentimes, customers don't know what they need, and you have to educate them on that. But
Yeah,
you
most
and
of
I
the
can also.
times it's
Pardon?
very surprising, sorry, very surprising, and a great diplomat from the US, the lady that worked with Obama, Kirkpatrick.
Madeline Albright.
Yeah, say that it's very amazing how people don't know what they want in a negotiation. they just they just go and sit in the table and try to fix a problem. And sometimes negotiating is not a problem; it's an opportunity.
That's a big problem, Gerardo. That's a big problem everywhere. You people go into a negotiation cold, and
Oh,
they just don't know what they want. And it's not that they go in wanting something, okay? I would change the wording a little bit, okay? They think they know what they want, but the question is, what will you settle for?
What do
Okay,
you settle for, and don't have a clear perspective of the negotiation. This a series, short series from Netflix, and I think this case you know it very well. Is the guy, the young man that demand Pepsi because of he wanted his plane. This plane, how it's called? I Want My Plane is the name of the series. And this guy saw a promotion and said, "You, the Pepsi points that were in the 80s, if you get a certain amount of points buying Pepsi,
you
by
get a
can,
plane. Right,
you
right.
get a prize." And the guys from marketing and publicity thought was a funny idea to say, if you got a 7 million points, you can get an army fighter. I mean, a plane. This one from England, from the 80s, the one that go ups and down
Right.
very.
Mhm.
And he said, "I want my plane. Pepsi, where's my plane?" is the name of the series. And when they sit down with the lawyers from Pepsi and this guy, both of the parts didn't know what they wanted. Okay. They say, well, CEO from Pepsi said, "Get this problem away." And the guy say, "I want my plane." And they just arrive with a proposal, okay, $1.5 million. And the guy said, "No, I want my plane." and, the lawyer said, forget about that. We're talking about money. You have enough money, take the money and leave. And he said, "No, I want my plane."
Yeah.
And the
Well,
lawyer,
but you got to ask why he wants the plane and not the money, right?
that's right.
Most of us would take the money. It would be inconvenient for me to have a plane, and where am I going to house it? Where am I going to put it? You know, what am I going to have to spend to keep that plane? It's part of, yeah, I guess really knowing what you want. But huh? Go ahead.
You know, there was a, sorry for the interruption, but because it's very funny and very illustrating of what we are talking about. Pepsi provide a formal response saying that you cannot buy a Harrier airplane because the weapons, all that is related to an army plane. And what happened? These top dollars lawyers from New York, Pepsi is in New York, didn't ask. And this little fellow with 20 years went to the Pentagon, went to the White House and asked if he can buy a Harrier fighter. And the White House and the Pentagon say, "Yes, you can buy it, but you cannot buy the weapons." Okay, just the plane. So the lawyers from New York, Pepsi, top of the line, great suits, great attache, said, "You cannot buy it." "Yes, I can buy it." And sometimes we're not prepared at all because we assume. One of the most critical errors in negotiation is we assume. We assume the other part will say no. We assume the other part will say yes. We assume the other part will say it's cheap, it's high price. We assume. Don't assume. Ask.
Exactly. Ask why they want. I would ask why they want the plane. Why do you want the plane instead of the money?
And well, part of the answer is because you promised, and I like the plane, and I love the way you promised the plane. And it was a very good advertisement. There were the times that the great OBDO worked with great models like Cindy Crawford, bouts in the Super Bowl and whatever. So it was a very interesting to say, "I want my plane." Okay, and it's reasonable. There is a great writer, business writer, consultant, one of my role models that Martin Lindstrom, his concept is biology, the buying, and ology. And his most recent book is The Minister of Common Sense. And he says, the problem is not intelligence. The problem is empathy.
Common sense, empathy, those things. That's really what's most important, is having common sense. You can be the most intelligent man in the world, and I've seen many intelligent people fail in life, because they couldn't cope with the common sense. Gerardo, you've got certain stuffed animals that you use to demonstrate
Okay.
negotiations. You got the which one? The shark, right? Explain what the shark means.
Well, shark. Well, we took a model on conflict resolution and negotiating style, very known, as a matter of fact, in business. That is Thomas Kilmann instrument. That would say if you are competitive, collaborative, if you are evasive, if you are compliant, and if you are committed. So the first part is being competitive, and everybody relates to be a good negotiator to be the shark. And the shark, what do we know about the sharks? The sharks go directly into the results, but not.
He goes for the jugular. The shark goes for the jugular vein, right?
Well, I would put it more beyond the Jaws movie of the 70s. I would put it more that, forgetting about the animal, I love sharks, as a matter of fact.
Mhm.
Here in San Clemente in California, you love it, and see where you can see him, okay? Well, the shark, as a businessman, is the person that will go see an opportunity and will take it. As simple as that. I see an opportunity, take it, okay? And that's very important.
Aggressive. But being aggressive, though, the shark has the connotation of being aggressive.
It's aggressive because sharks will do whatever is required to get their results, okay? And our sharks like Elon Musk that will do anything to get what he wants, and have to understand what he wants is what he wants, what he, like the great group from Great Britain in the 90s, the Spice Girls, what you really, really, really want, okay? What you really, 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 really want. And a shark knows exactly what he really, 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 really wants, and doesn't matter anything. Elon Musk wanted to have Twitter to play with Twitter. Okay, he got it. He put all his efforts and knowledge in order to get Twitter.
What's the other stuffed animal?
Well, we have, sorry, I'm gonna have to move. They're all over the office. The second style is being collaborative. And that's, this guy is called Leonardo.
Who is he? Because we can't see him well because of the backdrop. Is that a bear or what is it?
It's an owl.
An owl. Okay.
Yeah.
The animal that goes hoo, right?
Yeah, and has a 180, almost 360.
Eye circumference, right? Yeah.
And we'll take a very good perspective about things. I call it, well, Sharky is Sharky and explains by itself. Our O is Leonardo, like Leonardo da Vinci. What is a no? They're always looking for answers, solutions, resolve issues. Always. Okay? And if you put to work the O with the shark, what you will get, great teams. Because the shark knows what he wants.
What do you get?
And they all provide solutions, so you get a great deal about that. But not everybody will work like that. We have also La medusa medi.
What's that in English? What is it? Oh, the octopus.
No, it's, I forgot, let me check in Google, you can check, it's La Medusa.
La Medusa, it looks like an octopus to me.
Well, we did our best with the stuffed animals. And it's always avoiding, okay? We'll
Uh-huh.
not take responsibility, we'll always try to buy time, and we'll expect that things will solve by themselves, okay? And many people, well, my surprise, Medus is Medus in English too.
Medusa.
Medusa, okay. What we have with the Medusa is always avoiding. We'll give you an answer. And you were talking before we started this formally, we started this interview, this chat, that many people in Latin America are difficult to deal with and to negotiate with because they are medusas, always avoiding, yeah, see, tomorrow, don't worry, let's get a lunch and have a good time. And yeah, we're gonna solve it.
They always say, let me think about it, right?
Let me think about it. That's being a medusa. That's as simple
Yeah.
as that.
They don't give you an answer, but saying, let me think about it, or maybe is also a way sometimes to say no.
Well, we have a saying, you can translate it, or maybe you have a more reflective saying in English in the United States. In Mexico, all lawyers will say to you, tu asunto va por buen camino.
Yeah, that means that they haven't started on your case yet. Yeah, your case is going well, but that
Yeah,
means
but-
they haven't started on your case or it's not going well.
And that's being a medusa, okay? It's avoiding, and everybody can be a medusa. We can be a medusa when things are overcoming, overwhelming, and we don't know how to act. So we retract. Sometimes we have to get back and think about it and reframe our overall negotiation. So sometimes Medusa is a good style. Then we have
I would refer to them, Geraldo, as the ostrich. They stick
ostrich.
they stick their head in the ground and they think the world goes away.
But the Medusa's flow. So if the flow is in favor or of the tide favors them, they will go with the flow, they will go with the tide, they will.
Mhm.
In Mexico, we say acomodadizos. Then we have teddy bear. Everybody loves teddy bear. Everybody wants to have a teddy bear. They're very compliant. They will say, no problem. You're a great lawyer, Rudy, you're great. You have a very interesting case, but really solutions? No, solutions are for the all. Okay? And the all and the teddy bear can work together. Okay?
That's called meloso, right?
Yeah, meloso.
Meloso being like talking honey all the time, right?
Talking honey, Winnie the Pooh, talking honey all the time. In Mexico, in the north part of Mexico, we call it soflamero. Don't be soflamer. Okay, always providing very soflamero. Okay, and the teddy bear works. Public relations in negotiation are very important. Everybody likes to have a good time when they are negotiating. And sometimes they're key for the negotiating, like choosing the right place to negotiate, choosing the restaurant, choosing the place, choosing the time, choosing all the background that makes a nice negotiation beyond what is being negotiated. People like to be treated well. People like to be appreciated. So being a teddy bear, it's a great style, I think. I'm not much teddy bear, but I understand I have times I have to be a teddy bear. But be honest, authenticity is part of my model. The first part is to be authentic. If you're gonna act like a teddy bear, be authentic. Everybody have all these styles with them. And finally, what our book proposes is to be committed. Happy. This is Foxy,
And who's that?
the fox. Negotiate like a fox is the title, subtitle of the book. Why? It's not a matter of being have the capabilities. It's not a matter of having the attitude. It's a matter of being committed. And the fox is committed. This guy is committed. Okay.
But all these different animals, okay, it refers to a different style of negotiations, right?
That's right.
But are you one of those animals always, or do you switch from being, the shark to the owl? Do you have to adapt?
I'm basically, let's talk about myself because that's who I know best, or I intend to know best. It's like kind of an owl, but move into a shark. But sometimes I buoy myself emotionally to this.
With a little devil? Who's that?
It's one of the Pixar's characters, comes from this movie that talks about feelings and emotions in your brain. It's called in Mexico, it's called Señor Furia, Mr. Anger.
Okay.
And sometimes I come with this and I have a control. I have a control, I have here in my desk, and remember that I can go that way. Everybody has a style where we will feel more comfortable in a negotiation. Okay, those persons that have not have conscience of their capabilities of negotiation or the need and importance of negotiation will feel like Medusa. They will back up, don't provide information, will float, whatever. And others are sharks, mainly sharks, and they will try to intimidate you by saying they have all the power in the world. And they
Well,
will.
which animal are you most of the time? Which animal are you most of the time?
Gerardo Dueñas is a no.
He's an owl? Because your
Yeah.
head is moving around all the time.
Well, perhaps. And the other thing I try, and to be effective, everybody has to try to move into a fox. Okay, when a customer say, I want this, I provide solutions. They don't like the solutions or the price. Price is part of the solution. I still work and always providing solutions. And being a fox is move around all the styles and build that golden bridge we will say, that proposal that will say, well, that's exactly what I want. I don't know why we didn't think about it before, okay? The surprise, the wow effect of a negotiation, okay? And Mr. Corleone said, well, this is an offer you can refuse, okay? So being a fox is being Mr. Corleone, the offer you can refuse. Because it's imaginative, because it's has a lot of work, preparation, and understanding in building that proposal, in building that golden bridge.
Well, I'm looking at your book, okay, in Spanish it says negociar a color, reconoce y busca que cada persona desarrolle su propia paleta de colores en el arte de la negociación, su propio estilo y su propio metodología en todas las posibilidades de las ciencias. And translating means negotiation in color is basically everybody looking to develop their palette, okay, of colors in art, in the art of negotiation, your proper style, your methodology, and all the possibilities of science, of the science of negotiation, right?
Okay, in order to have a better understanding, I provide a full picture of what is the model. The model is based on Aristotle's, the rhetoric, and its authenticity, logic, and empathy is the base to build an effective negotiation. Okay, so you have to work on your authenticity. You have to work in your arguments to be logical. You have to work in your emotional agility, in your emotional intelligence, to have empathy, and then go and execute. And that comes ganar, that in English is winning. the art of negotiation. The art of negotiation, yes, power is important. Yes, deals, perspective and contracts are important, but people are involved in this. People are subject, sometimes are not subject, sorry, to powerful arguments and are subject to the more subtle details, the more meaningless details around a negotiation. Okay. So you have to be a fox to really understand what is going around with people. And something very important, people say the great negotiators and very important and renowned schools in business say the good negotiator is the one that will control his emotions or her emotions. Well, the problem from my perspective is that emotion can be controlled. Emotions have to be managed. What emotions are telling me? My emotions, the counterpart emotion, and our data. And that data, we have to use it to make a better negotiation. If we control our emotions or we don't take in consideration the emotions of our counterpart, we're losing a lot of art and we're losing a lot of execution power during the negotiation. And in results, that skill that we have, there are 5 skills related to this in all the proposals I have, but we're talking about negotiating.
Mhm.
You have to exercise as any skill, because the skill is knowledge put into practice. You have to exercise leadership. What is leadership in negotiation? Have the will to negotiate in first place. Second, have a clear purpose.
But how is that a competitive advantage? How is that? In your book, you say negotiating in colors provides a competitive advantage. How does that provide a competitive advantage over other types of negotiation? Why is your negotiation in colors a little different than, say, somebody else's?
When you do the effort to find a better solution, when you use all the colors in your palette, good things will come. Maybe the deal will not be done, but a lot of alternatives and learning will be happening during the process. Okay.
Mhm.
That's the important thing.
Something went wrong. Try again in a few seconds.
Wow.
Okay. I will try again.
That was the ghost. That was the ghost, I guess.
Well,
So it's a competitive advantage. I mean, more money, more market share.
the competitive advantage is being a better negotiator, and recognition, reputation, and reciprocity. I call the R3 is the stock, is the capital, the K of any negotiator. Recognition. People will want to do business with you. Okay. Recognition. I think nobody wants to do business with Elon Musk. We will be harmed. Okay.
Well, I mean, I think the greed factor comes in there when it comes to, he's made so much money that I think people are willing to take the risk. It's like Walmart. Okay. Walmart is difficult to do business with,
yeah,
but they're the 800-pound elephant in the room. And if you can get on, you'll make a lot of money, even though you have to put up with all the BS to get there.
yeah, but you have to let them know that you understand the BS. You have to let them know that you agree with that, because there are 3 variables, important basic variables in any negotiation: power, time, and information. Okay.
Right. Mhm.
Walmart has the power, Elon Musk has the power. You and I will have that kind of power. Perhaps we don't need it, perhaps we don't know how to manage it, who knows? But we don't have that kind of power. Elon Musk has it, Walmart has it, Amazon has it. I have been negotiating with Amazon for the publication of my book, and it's called Written Word. You cannot make any move, you can make them flexible, you have to do it as they say. That's power. When you sit on the table, it's a great opportunity to sit and negotiate with people representing these companies, and they have to understand they are not Walmart, they are representing Walmart. Okay.
Right.
Lawyers from Walmart. Okay. Keep it. You're not Sam Waltons. Okay. That guy is dead. Okay. You are representing Walmart, and make them understand that you recognize the power and that you make it being a little bit, oh, great company. I love it. Even if you buy all your things and in another grocery store or another warehouse. I understand you are very powerful because these are your conditions. I understand very well. That represents to me this and this and this. And I can provide you this and this and this. You have to know what exactly Walmart wants. Okay. And that's not the same all the time. In Mexico, everybody thinks that Walmart will fight for 90 days credit. Okay, that's not negotiable with them. You have to go to the table and think about other things. And many people make the mistake, and I work with large companies that intent or
But
day-to-day.
how would you negotiate with Walmart though? Let's say, you're trying to negotiate a good deal, you're trying to negotiate a business deal. What would you recommend to somebody? I mean, I've never negotiated with Walmart, but what I've heard is people are, they tend to be very hard, very, take it or leave it type situation. What would you recommend as a way to negotiate with them?
First, there are Bright and Stone, Graph and Stone things with Walmart in Latin America and some parts of the United States. Price and terms. So forget about that. You have to acknowledge those things and say, okay, I know that this is the price you require, and this is the terms you require. That's not negotiable. They're defined clearly where it's not negotiable for Walmart. And then let me see how I can help you. Maybe get more products, maybe get a distribution system. There are a lot of things. You have to, after you put a teddy bear, then you go to a fox. Let's find solutions. Let's make it's not just a matter of money. It's a matter of doing business with me and not with the other.
So maybe what you would do is, the price is going to be the same, but maybe you can negotiate volume, right?
You can negotiate value. You can negotiate about how we're going to manage the inventories, how we're going to manage the logistic. Okay, I don't understand how can manage my logistic. I understand Walmart has several companies with a great expertise in logistic. Can I use your company? That will provide value to my other customers. Those kinds of agreements, open, new colors, prices black and white, terms is black and white, colors, what can be done? And you have to study a lot. Study a lot. The lawyers from this guy from Pepsi study a lot and find out as a case very similar in Philippines that will help them. And that's called build leverage. Where is your power? There's always opportunity of leverage. If you cannot build up leverage, maybe that's not a business for you. Because I hear a lot of small business in Mexico and say, I'm selling to Walmart, but I know that they want to pay me 90 days. Well, the money is good, keep me cash flow running. Can you do better than that? We have to sit down and say, can we do better than that? And when we find option of being better than that, we can put it on the table. And you know what happened, Rudy? Most of my customers, when I'm giving consultancy, those what we call the war rooms on negotiating. Okay, I provide them the arguments to go with their customers or with their suppliers. They will say no. How you know they will say no? Have you ever asked them about it? Have you ever any experience? Okay. Have you ever think about it? Have you ever asked other companies? My competition will never tell me, no, I didn't say your competition, I say other companies. Now, there are two companies well known about their credit policies. Amex, American Express, and Walmart. How they work together? What is the value that American Express gives to Walmart? It's better to find out. I don't know, but sometimes when I was in Dow Chemical, they say, we need to know how to be their worker accountable payable accounts more. Sorry, let's start all over again. Account
Mhm.
payables have to be more effective. Okay, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna do a benchmark, but General Electric, DuPont, and all our competition in the chemical industry, they will not say, no, I'm not gonna do a benchmark with those guys. They are in the same problem as I am. They are chemical companies, they sell the same products as I do in the same context. I'm gonna add American Express. Why? They are the best in accounts receivable. Okay. I know if you have a debt with American Express, you will go to hell, you will go to the heaven with that in your portfolio. Okay, so always be how big companies do business with Walmart. And there was a, well, those companies are very powerful. That's a very simplistic, not simple answer, okay? That maybe there is a simple answer. And always to provide value, to give the answers they want. Sometimes buyers from Walmart, especially in Latin America, they want to feel they have doing great accomplishments, that they're doing a great work. So if they can provide us with a deal that will be something they can be proud, something they can be around the company saying, I'm a great buyer because I did this deal, they will use it. A shark will always use your ideas, and they all has to have the constant state of mind that don't worry, my ideas are your ideas. Ego is the enemy. Okay.
Ego is the enemy of progress, right? And the
Of
enemy of
everything. Ego,
negotiation.
sorry. Ego
Yeah,
is ego is a trademark. Ego.
ego, yeah, ego. So what are the three takeaways from your book, Gerardo, that you want people to remember? And by the way, you can get your book on Amazon Kindle, right? Right now it's in Spanish. The English version is going to be available when?
I think the second half of 2023. For sure it's gonna be available. Also the audiobook and all the difference in English, I mean. And what are the most important takeaways of the book? First is a multi-content,
Well, wait a
multi-expert.
minute, before you do that, Geraldo, we have a question, okay? That I think is in line with what you're going about to answer. I
Okay,
would like Geraldo to tell us the 5 main differences between negotiation in colors with respect to the main known models, such as the one from Harvard.
well, Harvard and negotiating in colors are almost the same. It's an enriched version, okay?
Okay,
Because
okay.
leadership and art are based on that school that I follow. I can be trained on that school. There's no difference. It's putting it to work. It's the execution of Harvard. The base of Harvard is the same base as my model. Okay, authenticity, logic, and empathy. Okay,
Okay.
we have to remember.
Those are great takeaways, though. Authenticity, logic, and empathy, right?
How we execute, always thinking winning, not just win-win, that has been a disaster, a complete disaster. Will the great negotiator Donald Trump would say, okay? I don't think he's a good negotiator, but he thinks he is. Okay, it's a disaster because win-win is not a result. Win-win is a mindset. And it's not just win-win. Win-win for the folks is win-win or no deal. Okay. We don't.
But the word winning and loss is also very subjective. What constitutes a win? So, for example, in a criminal case, this is a really easy example. The prosecutor wants 30 years. You go to trial, they find you guilty, the jury finds you guilty, and you get 10 years. The defense lawyer thinks it's a victory because they were asking for 30 years. The prosecutor thinks it's a win because they got a conviction, right? So both sides is pumping their breath, their chest, saying, we won. It's a good result, right? And I think that's, the winning is subjective. You don't get all of what you want, but you get a lot of what you want, for example, right? Or maybe,
No, winning isn't getting all what you want, because that's kind of naive. Winning is getting what you need.
is
Okay?
winning what you need. Yeah. What do you have to have?
What you
Yeah.
have to have. Yes, we have to have great expectations, but at the end of the day, that both parts feel that they got something that can be managed, that is okay for them. Let's say Twitter and Elon Musk. Was a good negotiation? Yes, it was, because both parts got what they want.
Well, was it a negotiation or was it a hostile bid? I mean, they're buying the stock on the open market. It's high,
Okay,
but they eventually came to an agreement.
they came into an agreement because they put it on the table of Wall Street and lawyers. So it's not very in colors that, but before that, they settled in colors what were their needs, what
Yeah.
their perspectives. And they have what we call a zone of possible agreement. That is the present stock. Okay, you want to put it into Wall Street? Let's get into battle with that. And Wall Street works with press release after press release. Okay, so they
Mhm.
start moving around, and finally they get the money. There was a zone of possible agreement in the stock value since March. It's just a matter of moving up or moving down according, but penny less, well, it's not penny less, billion less, billion more. The guys from Twitter are stupidly rich now.
It's
And
all
they,
funny money. It's all funny money in my world. It's just too much to gather. Well, head on to we're approaching the hour. I see we have one more
Okay.
question. Do you consider that your model can be applied in mediations in family conflicts?
yes, of course. Authenticity. I think that the battlefield, if you want to call it that, the ballpark of families, authenticity always will come out. We have the confidence to talk with each other. Okay, who knows better than your family? Okay. One of
Right.
the things, and somebody in the audience, thank you for asking the question, said Harvard or your model. One thing of Harvard that I take very much in this model, and it's very useful in the family business negotiation, is separate the idea from the identity. Okay, we're not going to discuss if you're my brother and you didn't come to Thanksgiving and you didn't pay for Christmas gifts, or no. What we are really discussing in this mediation, it's a very good example, divorce, where we're going to mediation. Perhaps lose-lose is a great option because your purpose is to never see that people again, that person again, okay? You never have any problems. So that's a win. So the first thing we have to define what is winning for me and what is winning for the other part. And we assume that winning for the other.
We have to define what winning is. Exactly.
Okay, we assume that my ex-wife will want all the money. Perhaps it is, but perhaps it's not. Am I willing to pay all the money?
Well, maybe it's not so much about the money as it is about the insurance, okay? Or the insurance for the kids. Yeah, there are a whole number of issues, but
You have to
we're-
negotiate in order to make the final statements because of time. You have to open to possibilities, always open to possibilities. Don't assume, don't think that negotiations we see in TV, very clarifying. You can see this series, I love it, Suits. You can see a lot of movies there are in the videography and filmography of the book. You can see at the end of the book. I was telling about the book, what you can get music, we can get interviews with very good negotiators. You can get other books, other videos that complement my proposal, and it's a multi-content and multimedia experience. In Kindle, you use your cellular phone and will read the QRC and will take you to music, videos, or whatever. It's a very enjoyable reading, as a matter of fact. And,
Well,
and
thank
I,
you, thank you. Huh, go ahead.
and I'm giving not instructions of knowledge to anyone. Everybody, you want to know this, the secret for the successful negotiator, find it yourself.
Find yourself, right? Find yourself.
Find
No
it
reason
yourself.
for it.
Find it yourself, read the book. Let me know what you think about it. And if there's a color missing in my palette, please, my readers, my gentle readers, provide me with it. Give it to me.
Right.
Okay.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much. Geraldo, it was an interesting interview. I wish you a lot of success with your book. And if you will, send me the link of where you can buy it on LinkedIn, not on LinkedIn, but on
WhatsApp or
oh God, I can't talk. It's late at night. Send it to me through email on Kindle, the link for Kindle.
yeah, tomorrow we're gonna give away some discounts and how you get it on Kindle and also in a printed version, paperback. Starting, you can buy it now, but I think a good discount will always help.
Okay,
So tomorrow you will have that available, and let's keep in touch. If you can provide me with the questions that you receive now and later, so I can give a
Sure,
formal,
sure.
more structured answer, so people
we will
can.
have more questions, I'm sure. So thank you so much, Geraldo. I appreciate it. Thank you,
Oh, always a
everybody, for
pleasure.
joining. Thank you.